everybody, welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I want to address an email from Tiffany saying, help, I have a huge death house full of stuff that's not listed and I'm not motivated. I listened to your videos, I've listened to Gary Vee, but I still don't feel like doing anything. I need a shock collar to get myself to actually get this stuff listed. All I see is piles of money and I'm not doing anything about it. Well, let me just take this a little bit further because this comes from a lot of different emails from a lot of different people. And if this is you, this video will help you get out of that. So these are some of the feelings that people have been experiencing with this pile. They have the inability to concentrate or complete tasks. They get sick a lot, oftentimes with colds. They get body aches, they crave junk food, they crave procrastination. They have headaches, irritability, they have trouble falling asleep, trouble staying awake, changes in their appetite, and they're more anxious or angry than usual. Now, if you fall into one of these things, there's a reason for that, and I think that's because your stress level is too high. Now, obviously, a little bit of stress is good because if you have no stress, you actually end up psyching yourself out, and you can see there's like a really high rise in divorce rate and death right when people retire. And I noticed that with one of my friends. He owned a giant store, kind of a mentor of mine. When his store shut down after being open for 30 years, he died less than a week later. It was just like his baby, his store that he'd been running his whole life was shut down. He didn't know what to do with all that extra time, and he ended up just dying within a week. So you don't want no stress. On the opposite, you don't want paralyzing stress where you can't do anything because you're so stressed out and you don't know what to do. Well, this is how you can fix it. Go back to my original plan, which is just staying consistent with small goals, daily tasks, things that you can do, and then your stress will actually create the opposite effect. It'll give you laser-like focus. It'll give you a mission that you can accomplish that day. You actually do not need to listen to any content. So if you want to listen to my videos for a little bit of motivation, it might actually hurt you. You should probably listen to my videos or other people's videos after you've already done a bunch of work. When you wake up, use that energy that you're using consuming content on producing something. Get out there, start getting your listing done. And I have to take another tidbit from my mastermind member, Michael. So he was mentioning he has had a running habit for 20 or 30 years now. And if you think about running, it's not that easy. Like if you could ask people like things that they dislike, running would be really high up there. Public speaking and then running and death would be like the things people want to avoid. And he mentioned that even though he's run for 20 or 30 years, the first 2 miles always suck. Okay, so let's use that for reselling. Probably the first 10 listings suck, but once you are getting into the flow and you can get that momentum going, then listing a few more items is a lot easier. So maybe reduce your goal down to like 1 or 5 or 10 listings a day to get you in the momentum of moving forward. Do that as early as possible. Do not ship as the first thing you do in the morning. That is a huge waste. That's like giving yourself permission to slack off the rest of the day because you're like, oh, I already got my shipping done. But your shipping does not move the needle forward. That's just like busy work. That would be like starting your day off with meal prep when you're an athlete. You should get after it as soon as you wake up because that's when you have the highest amount of energy and concentration. So I want to give you guys laser-like focus towards your goal. So I'm going to repeat my plan again for you guys just to help you understand it. It is you list 4 times a week, $10 more profit than the previous week. Okay, and so now I am at the $110 a day, 4 times a week level. And it did take me some time to recoup some capital because we were working with a limited budget in that store. I also had to create a consignment operation so that stuff could come to me without me paying for it because I want to show you guys how to build this with limited capital. So had to make a consignment store, which took a few days. And in the meantime, I had some great sales. I'll make another video going over some things that sold. I sold those FootJoy golf shoes and I sold that Nespresso milk frother that you guys saw. I picked up at a garage sale for a couple bucks, sold for 40. So all this extra capital is now starting to come back in. And now I can get back on this train of listing $110 profit 4 times a week. It's so actionable and short term and easy to focus on. More stress starts to come the further away you put your goals. I want to buy a house. I want to put a down payment down. I want to get married. These things are such long term that they're gonna stress you out because it takes a lot of mini goals to reach this big goal. So just keep it in perspective. The plan is simple. Just start listing 4 times a week, not every day. Every day is great, but then people aren't even listing twice a week. How are you gonna go from twice a week to 7 days a week? You gotta slowly build up that habit over time. Once you get into the habit, like some people I know that list 7 days a week, it's hard for them not to list. They feel weird. They feel naked when they don't actually get some listings going. But I'll tell you, even those people, the first few listings is hard. You've got to get yourself into the right mindset. Other things that make it difficult to do that are clutter. For me, the first thing you should do when you arrive to your area that you're listing is just clean up a few things, try to make your space as clean as possible. And that's really going to help you stay focused on the task at hand and just getting those few listings out. But honestly, guys, $250 profit listed 4 times a week, that's not that much time. In the beginning, it's going to be challenging because you don't have the habit created, and it might take you 8 or 9 hours to get those listings up. But after some practice, if you get the momentum going, this shouldn't take longer than 10 or 20 hours to get these listings up per week. And then the rest of the time you can spend getting stuff in. There's a few more tips I want to give you guys to minimizing your death pile. One is I recommend a $40 average selling price or higher. The reason why I recommend that is because it limits the supply of stuff coming in. There's not that much stuff at the thrift store that's over $40, to be honest, because most people donate items that are worth $30 or less, right? That's the majority of stuff at the thrift store is $30 or less. There's a small percentage of stuff that's over $30, and that's where the magic of experience and knowledge and reselling comes in. That's how you make your money, because you're missing these things. Also, the stuff worth over $100, now you might live in an area like myself where Goodwill is picking those items out of there. So you're not finding a lot of you're not finding Louis Vuitton or Gucci at the thrift store. They've already picked that out and they're selling it in their own eBay store. You need to find the items between 40 and 100 if this is your model to reduce that death pile. If I were to come into most of these death piles, for me, I would just donate 90% of it and just start over, because the crippling stress from having all this stuff around you and you not listing it is worse than just donating it and starting to buy expensive stuff and seeing that momentum grow. I know it sounds crazy because I get the statement, Chris, I'm not throwing away this money. I'm not donating this money. Well, hopefully you're happy making $200 to $1,000 a week and trying to live off of that, because if you have that kind of crippling pile, usually you do not have a job. I've noticed that people that have that crazy amount of stuff everywhere, it's so crippling that it's preventing them from even getting a normal job, and that job may be paying the bills while you build your side income. So yes, most of the stuff sold on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari is under $20, okay? And this is where people need to understand what I'm talking about. The market of $20 and under is extremely saturated, okay? Lots of people are playing in that game. You'll see the items that you're trying to sell for $12 free shipping, somebody else will be selling it for 99 cents plus shipping, because they're just so desperate to get their sales up. When you play in the $40 and above range, you do not need to offer discounts. You don't need to offer best offer. It's quality stuff. Right now we have this Marie Kondo, get rid of all your junk movement happening. So people are getting rid of their junk. You're trying to sell junk to people who are getting rid of their junk. That's more difficult than selling premium stuff that people want in their store. That milk frother that I would have paid $10 for it pre-owned, because it's a nice milk frother. These cost $80 to $100 in the store. Selling it for $40 is no problem, because people are looking for quality stuff. Now, if you pick up a kind of a crappier milk frother for 50 cents, or maybe you got it for free and it's selling for $12 to $20, you're competing with brand new crappy ones on Amazon that are selling for $15.99 prime. You're trying to sell just like an average one for $9 or something, and you might make $1 or $2, but you're also gonna have this gigantic death pile. So I want you guys to reduce your focus down to 4 times a week. That's it. You should download my plan if you haven't already. It's at in the link below. If you use code YouTube, you get half off. It's $32.50. It's going to print out a schedule for you. Or if you don't have $32.50, then just make your own schedule on a piece of paper and list 4 times a week. And don't listen to content until after you've already done it. I'm going to post a video of just me working with some fan noise in the background shortly. So you guys, if you guys really need content, then use that content, put that playlist on and just watch me work for an hour with that white noise, and then you work with me, and then we'll get it done, because there's no magic to this. It's not rocket science. It's just putting your head down and focusing, but you need a little bit of stress. That's why the goal comes in. You can't have no plan. No plan equals no action. You have to have some little bit of a plan, but not this grand plan of how you plan on spending your millions and your Lamborghini and your supermodel significant other and you guys traveling around and having butlers and maids. That's like step 1000 in this marathon that we are in. And I'm not even sure you really even want that. So guys, just focus on your plan for the week. One more plug for my mastermind group. If you guys want to join, you're going to pick a 12-week goal for 90 days. If you're really struggling and you want some one-on-one help, then maybe you should join. There's people of all different levels in there. Tomorrow I'm gonna try to get Scott on the in the interview process. I'm sorry, on Tuesday, and he does his company does like 100 million on Amazon, right? So we have that guy in the group giving some information. We also have people who just listed their first item. It really doesn't matter. You just come up with a 12-week plan. Everyone's plan is going to be different. Once you have the 12-week plan, make a 1-week plan. What are you going to do this week? Break that weekly plan down into 4 sections. Okay, and if you don't have 4 times a week to work on your eBay business, at least an hour, then don't do this. Do something else. If you don't have the time to put into this, it's not going to work. And most people have plenty of time. Okay, like I added training for a half marathon into my schedule. Yesterday I had to run for 2.5 hours. I crammed that into my schedule and was able to do it. And you know what that caused? I didn't even log into YouTube or eBay or anything. I didn't have time yesterday to log into anything. It was so busy. I woke up, I went for this crazy run, came back, had to do a whole bunch of listing stuff, got that all organized and set up. I had to reprogram a macro. I just launched a class on how to do macro for PC yesterday. So the link to the Skillshare will be in the description below as well if you guys want to check out that free course to do that. So I basically taught myself a new language and made all those videos and listed yesterday. I didn't even have time to log on to the internet. I didn't listen to one piece of content. I don't know what's happening in the world, but it's just like I have this short term list of stuff to get done, and the stress of all these people like, Chris, where is this class? I need it. But really, you don't need it. You do not need macros. You can just manually post. But I do recommend you take that class. It's free. It's sponsored by Skillshare. And the reason why I recommend you take the class is so you start understanding these little tiny steps that are required to make an eBay store work. It doesn't go from 0 to eBay store. There's all these little tiny things you need to do to operate. I don't want people to operate on a hobby level. I don't want that. I want tons and millions of small business owner type people. I like creators. If you guys are hanging out with people who are not creators, it sucks because they're always stressed out. They're always like reacting to what's happening around them. But when you're a creator, you're making your own life. And I recommend you guys maybe don't upgrade your friends, but just surround yourself with people who create and make things. It's really an incredible community of makers and resellers and repurposers and recyclers. It's a cool world right now. Surround yourself with those people. Your stress level will go way down. Then just add up a little bit of stress with this weekly plan, whatever it is. If you want to start a YouTube channel or an eBay store or some kind of side hustle, just start with these tiny actionable steps, and it's going to help you get to the next level. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.